Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Step by Step, where we're going to be taking a look at the strategy behind the Pokemon trading card game by analyzing each turn, move by move. And today we're going to take a look at Decidueye Vileplume versus a Darkrai, Turbo Darkrai deck. And our opponent is number 9. And good luck to number 9, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so obviously winning the coin flip is a huge advantage, and as you're going to see here in my opening hand, I have a really good hand too, and they mulligan. Also, don't forget, anytime your opponent mulligans, check their hand to see what they have. It can give you a little bit of insight. I know a lot of lists in the current format are pretty standard, pretty much the same, but still, you never know when you're going to see something that catches you off guard. So as you can see, I open up with Forest of Giant Plants, Rowlet, Dartrix, and Decidueye. So that's pretty crazy. And a level ball, so I can get Oddish if I draw what I need to complete the Vileplume line. So on the mulligan, we draw a supporter, and then to start the game, I draw a Gloom. So, turn one's going to be pretty crazy. So obviously we're just going to get an Oddish. There's really not much strategy to this first step. Oh, but you didn't see that one coming. Going straight to turn one, Decidueye and Vileplume. Ooh, wow. Who would have guessed it? Now, actually, what I am going to do, this is a little bit different. I am actually not going to go for the turn one Vileplume. It might look weird, but I'm not ready to limit myself for my trainers yet. I'm going to need more than just a single Decidueye to take down the Turbo Darkrai deck. The matchup's pretty favorable for Decidueye, and I feel good about not getting a Vileplume out turn one. So I was hoping to maybe get a Revitalizer or something, an Ultra Ball, whatever. I think there's at least 10 other cards in my deck that could have access to Vileplume, aside from the Vileplume that I discarded on turn one. But the reason, like I said, I discarded it is because I want to use my trainers to get a more complete setup before just going for a turn one Vileplume. Now, if this had been a matchup against Volcanion or something like that, then I definitely would have gone for the turn one Vileplume, but I feel pretty safe about the matchup. I mean, they're not going to explode on turn one for a knockout or anything like that against me with Turbo Darkrai, so I'm not too worried about it. The Parallel City kind of hurts, but I mean, we run 4 Forest of Giant Plants, so there's no reason to worry about that too much. And the way my hand sits now, next turn, well, they're going to play an N. Next turn, if my hand was just 2 Lysander, an N, and a Sycamore, this deck, it's so important to use your Lysanders as much as possible and to conserve them. I don't think I would have Sycamored away two Lysander and an N. That just seems crazy to me, so just to kind of think through what I was going to do if my hand stayed the same. Although, of course, with N in the format, it's a little hard to think about what you're going to do with your hand for next turn, until it actually is your next turn and you've survived through an N, a Judge, an Ace Trainer, or an Ilma, or a Delinquent. You never know. So many things that can hurt your hand in the format. I'm sure there's even more that I'm not thinking of. Red card, but no one plays it, but, well, you know what I mean. So next turn, looking at my hand, obviously I'm thinking I'm going to play the Dartrix. I'm going to play the Trainer Mail, see what we get. I mean, there's not much strategy looking at my hand, so. Now, it's interesting, had I played the Vileplume last turn, they would not be using the Max Elixir to get an extra energy on the field, and they would not be using another Max Elixir. So they do have 2 extra energy on the field because I did not play the Vileplume last turn, but I still think the matchup is so favorable enough to me in this setting that I don't think it matters, honestly. And yeah, I also realize I'm getting super lucky with this draw. I mean, I'm getting a Sycamore off the Trainer Mail. I just top decked a Grass Energy. I drew a Gloom and a Sycamore in my opening hand when I had everything else that I needed to set up properly, and didn't have a supporter. That was the only thing I was missing. I'm drawing really well, and it's unfortunate that a lot of games do come down to that. So here we're discarding the Rowlet in the end. Um, Now it's time to go ahead and get Vileplume. But before I play the Vileplume, I am going to play the Shaman, simply because if I were to draw, like, I don't know, whatever, a Revitalizer or an Ultra Ball or something, or, hey, 2 Trainer Mail, I don't want to limit myself and not be able to play those trainers just to draw 1 extra card on Shaman. I know some people might do that different, some people might want the extra card, but not me. I want to be able to play what I draw. We'll take the Forest of Giant Plants just so I don't draw it next turn. I do see people not do that though sometimes, like not take a card they don't need on Trainer Mail. But like, I mean, you're just clunking your deck for next turn. And okay, so a couple things here. I'm putting 20 on Shaman. It should have gone on the other Shaman. I kind of misclicked. That's my fault, because the other Shaman has an energy and the experience share. But whatever. I'm gonna 2-shot Darkrai regardless, so I don't need to be dropping damage on that. Obviously, you can see the Hex Maniac being played. And dropping 20 on Shaman allows me to Lysandre it to knock it out at any point in time that I want. I talked about how crucial Lysandre was earlier for this deck, so I'm not gonna let myself be in a spot where I can't take prizes when I want them. Also, I sent up Vileplume here because I knew I could just absorb 100 damage and then retreat. No big deal. So there's a couple things that we're thinking through here. How do we want to attack this? I can just retreat and then 2-shot the active Darkrai. I know I'm not going to be able to drop any damage. There's really no point in hollow hunting. There's nothing in the discard that I want right now. And I'm not going to Lysandre something and leave the Darkrai with the most energy attached to it without having pressure put on it. So there's really no point in doing anything this turn except just attacking. So of course the trainer lock's pretty limiting, so all they can do back is just Dark Pulse. Now it's really nice. You'll notice that I play an Olympia in this deck. The standard list that's kind of been going around recently, what it was today, April the 19th or 18th or something like that, runs a Taurus. I think people are just now starting to not play the Taurus GX. I think a small group of people are starting to move away from it. For me, I replaced the Taurus GX with the Olympia simply because against Lapras, I know it sounds silly, like, oh, Decidueye should beat Lapras every time. Um, if they get really tricky and are doing the whole Ice Beam GX turn on the current turn, and then next turn they're going to use Blizzard Burn or whatever, then they'll knock you out, and you're not going to get to attack them. So Olympia is my little way around that, and I think it's pretty effective. So also it allowed me to survive another turn in this matchup, and all they could do was just use his Dark Pulse attack. So pretty much right now I'm just loading up another Dartrix, and I think with 4 prizes left, I still have that Lysandre I've been holding on to. I'm going to go ahead and take down the Shaman with the EXP share and the energies, because it's going to weaken Dark Pulse's attack and eliminate an EXP share. That's why we dropped 20 on it earlier. We always want to have this play available whenever something like Shaman has so much crucial stuff on it, like 2 energies and an EXP share. And yeah, I know he's going to knock out my Decidueye, but at this point it kind of doesn't matter. Not a lot to do when Trainer Lock's in play, which is why it's no fun for the opponent. It can be fun to play. So at this point, you can look at my hand. I mean, there's nothing there. It's all trainers, a couple Pokemon, a supporter that's only going to give me 2 cards right now. So the only play this turn is to send up Vileplume and just let him knock it out. The past couple turns from our opponent, they didn't do much, so I figured not much would happen. Had they even Lysandred the Dartrix, and knocked it out, that would have been a pretty difficult play. But depending on what we got this turn, um, we may have been able to just still set up a double Decidueye. So as you can see, without even doing anything, I could have just Lysandered the bench Darkrai EX and knocked it out with Leaf Blade from Dartrix. But I'm just playing this turn out a little bit more so you can see what else you can open yourself up to if you allow something like your Vileplume to get knocked out in a situation like this. It can lead to a pretty cool turn. Yeah, I think we would have still gotten double Decidueye and dropped a minimum of 40, even if they had knocked out the Dartrix with the energy, and we still would have gotten to Hollow Hunt GX. So, I mean, worst case scenario, I don't know. They would have had to have had another Lysander for the Shaman. If they had Lysandered and knocked out Dartrix, then they would have had to have Lysandered again next turn and knocked out Shaman. Um, but, I mean, we may have even found a way instead of um, going for all these Decidueyes that you're seeing on the field. We could have just gone and kind of spent the Revitalizer like on a Vileplume, or I don't know, who knows. But um, yeah, at this point, obviously, it doesn't matter. The game's over. And we don't have to use Feather Arrow or anything. We actually didn't have to use our GX attack this game, which was really weird. Normally, it's like your most important thing. And of course, I always want to say well played to our opponent. But I didn't get the opportunity to. I should have before I attacked there. So, good game number 9. She played a really good game. But usually that's kind of how that match goes for Decidueye. So, thank you for watching, and I'll try to do more content. I'm typically going to focus on decks that I like playing because it's no fun to just play decks that you're not interested in. But yeah, thanks for watching, and again, good game number 9.